In my opinion, some of the greatest internet rabbit holes out there are those involving fast food. Legendary tales involving rats getting battered and deep fried, rogue employees tampering with burger ingredients, or folks contracting STDs from contaminated mayonnaise. And on the other hand, there's these stories you find on the internet where folks will engage in stampedes or even participate in criminal activity to get a new release from a fast food chain. And in today's video, I'll be taking you all on a drive-through tour, if you will, of some of the internet's most infamous fast food contaminations, crimes, and controversies. These are the fast food disasters. Our first story is probably the most recent fast food disaster to go viral on social media: the legend of the Jollibee fried towel. Jollibee is notable for being the only internationally headquartered fast food chain in this compendium. But that just means that they fucked up so badly that the story went internationally viral. Now, to begin, what exactly is Jollibee? Jollibee is a Filipino-American fusion fast food joint based out of the Philippines. From spaghetti to shrimp to fried chicken to burgers, they do it all. And with a self-stated company mission of spreading joy, you can bet your bottom dollar that Jollibee aims to please with its fast food creations. But in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, a disaster was on the horizon. When news about the virus began spreading in the spring of 2020, Jollibee was one of the first global chains to aggressively respond to consumer fears, announcing a franchise-wide effort to bolster food and consumer safety. Mask and glove policies were enacted, rigorous sanitation protocols were followed, and deliveries even included the respective body temperatures of the store crew and delivery driver that handled the customer's food. These guys had completely revamped their health and safety practices and were running a clean operation here. But ironically enough, it would be an object associated with cleanliness and sanitization that would end up being the biggest health and safety blemish in the company's history. The disaster begins unfolding on June 1st of 2021, when a woman hailing from the Philippines named Alik Marie shares the following harrowing experience with her Jollibee chicken meal.
Worst experience ever, had Jollibee delivered. Mukha siyang chicken, di ba? Tigas eh. Gulat ako eh. And it's not chicken, it's a towel.
She shares photos and videos of what appears to be a deep-fried dish rag. She says, just something that frustrated me this late. She says, we had Jollibee delivered via Grab, ordered chicken for my son. While I was trying to get him a bite, I found it super hard to even slice. Tried opening it up with my hands and to my surprise, a deep fried towel. This is really disturbing. How the hell do you get the towel in the batter and even fry it? I really thought that the posts complaining about weird stuff in their orders were just all made up. Now I know that it really happens. So disgusting and embarrassing to think you're even branched in the BGC. There's a first for everything, and this has been the worst first. Generally speaking, these deep-fried horror stories almost always hinge on a chicken tender vaguely resembling a rat or something like that. But taking a look at Alik's comprehensive photography of her fast food encounter, it was clear as day what we were dealing with here. Ain't no way around it, this was 100% a fucking fried towel. And what makes this even more bizarre is that you wouldn't get a fried towel simply by, like a towel in the kitchen accidentally falling into the fryer. This thing had to be processed by hand in the sense that someone had to put it in flour, get it in an egg wash, batter it up, and then place it in a deep fryer. There were a lot of steps and a lot of personnel that likely encountered this rag before it was fried. And what makes this even more disturbing is the fact that this is a kitchen rag. At the very least, it was contaminated with cleaning solution, and at the worst, it was just contaminated from cleaning up some disgusting mess or sludge in the kitchen. Needless to say, pretty disgusting, right? Alik's fried towel would begin making its rounds on Facebook, and in short time you had thousands chiming in, sharing their thoughts on the grotesque discovery and making jokes at the expense of Jollibee. The batter must have been contaminated too when that towel was breaded. We will never know who got those potentially contaminated chicken joys that day. What if the kitchen towel has chemicals in it? That's the secret ingredient. Word of the Jollibee fried towel incident would spread from Facebook to the greater internet, and, well, they had a PR disaster on their hands. Thankfully, for the sake of the public, Alik's Facebook post contained an image showing her online order receipt. and the exact Jollibee location that the fried towel was ordered from. This receipt indicated that the Jollibee kitchen responsible for this fibrous monstrosity was the location at 32nd and Rizal Street in Bonifacio Global City, located in the Philippines. When news of the towel spread, folks avoided this location like the plague, and the Jollibee company was facing mounting pressure, with the public demanding them to open an official investigation into this alleged linen frying franchise. In the meantime, humiliating videos began appearing on YouTube where people parodied the situation by showing viewers how to cook a Jollibee fried towel for themselves.
Pwede na siyang prituin ngayon, so yan, siksik lang natin yung magkakaprito. Unahin ko muna ilagay yung ating mga manok. So i-deep fried natin siya sa 170 degrees Celsius ng oil. Tapin nyo na lang yung recipe na to. At napakasarap po ng chicken na to, ng Ledon, yung nagpa-deliver. Ganyan na ganyan. Diba? Pag bukas mo yung sa gitna, towel talagang itsura niya.
On June 2nd, a leak would make an appearance on popular Filipino talk show Raffy Tuflo in Action. In this broadcast, she would explain her reasoning for coming forward with the story, that being that she wanted to, quote, raise awareness about the practices at Jollibee. And she also seemed to suggest that suing the company for damages was on the table.
Yes,
It's not about suing Jollibee for damages. Hindi po yon?
It is part of it.
With mounting social media scrutiny, the company was being pressed by customers around the world to make a statement. And approximately 48 hours after a leaked fried towel post, the Jollibee company would make a statement confirming officially that they were looking into the matter. Not only confirming that they were investigating, but that the restaurant responsible for serving the towel was shutting down. This concerns the customer complaint on food ordered late evening of June 1st from a franchise store in Bonifacio Global City. We are deeply concerned about this matter and have conducted a thorough investigation on the incident. It is unfortunate that deviations from Jollibee's standard food preparation procedures occurred on the part of a certain personnel of the store. As a result of this incident, we have directed the Jollibee Bonifacio Stopover branch to close for 3 days starting tomorrow, June 3rd, to thoroughly review its compliance with procedures and retrain its store team to ensure that this will not happen again. We will also send out reminders to all stores to ensure the strict adherence to Jollibee's food preparation systems. While this corporate speak press release is vague in regards to the exact origins of the towel, I think when you break this thing down, you get a little insight as to what may have actually happened here. This sentence here, deviations from Jollibee's standard food preparations procedures occurred on the part of a certain personnel of the store, sounds to me that Jollibee looked into this and determined that the blunder occurred on behalf of one employee. And if this was a complete accident or intentional sabotage by this employee, that is unknown to this day. But if you were to ask my opinion on what happened, it sounds like to me that somebody got lazy, a dish rag ended up in a chicken prep area, it got mixed in with some flour, nobody noticed it, and it went into the deep fryer with the rest of the chicken. And bam, a legend is born. In the end, Jollibee would eventually allow the fried towel franchise location to reopen after a compliance review was completed, and the location remains open to this day. It's unknown exactly what happened to the employee directly responsible. As for a leak, well, her public statements regarding Jollibee pretty much ended after her appearance on the Raffy Tuflo show, and there's no publicly available evidence indicating that she ever filed suit against the company for the dish rag entree. Unfortunately for Jollibee, this situation was for many in the West the first time that they had ever heard of the company. And with Jollibee currently in the process of executing plans to aggressively grow their restaurant chain in the United States, we'll have to see if this situation and the blemish that it caused has any effect on the appetite of Western diners. Our next story is without a doubt the most memed on fast food disaster of all time. It's a legend made infamous thanks to an appearance in a Chill's Top 15 video. Burger King foot lettuce.
Number 15, Burger King foot lettuce. The last thing you'd want in your Burger King burger is someone's foot fungus, but as it turns out, that might be what you get.
Despite how much of a joke Burger King foot lettuce has become in recent years, this story is actually one of the most disgusting and well-documented cases of fast food contamination by rogue employees in the history of fast food. The story of Burger King foot lettuce begins back on July 16th of 2012. At 11:38 p.m., an anonymous internet user posted the following image to 4chan's B-board. The image featured an individual clearly in a fast food setting actively contaminating 2 bins of lettuce by way of literally standing in the bins themselves 1 foot per bin. The anonymous worker added the following text to their 4chan post. "This is the lettuce you eat at Burger King." Now, this photo has some pretty sickening implications. We've got a potentially rogue Burger King employee here contaminating burger lettuce with their non-slip work shoes that are probably coated in sludge and bacteria, and if this lettuce were to make it out of the restaurant into a customer's hands, you're exposing the public to potentially lethal stomach bugs. Now, 4chan themselves are no strangers to participating in fucked up pranks, but generally speaking, they save this nasty stuff for people who cross them. If you're messing with the innocent public, they're not gonna take too kindly to this, and they're probably gonna come after you. And not long after the foot lettuce image was posted, you began to see users responding to this rogue BK employee with outrage. 4chan would make it their mission to unmask this rogue Burger King employee, find the Burger King that they worked at, and make sure that they faced punishment for their crimes. Now, considering that the photo itself features nothing more than a guy's legs, you might consider such a feat to be impossible. But the only reason that you think that is because you're a normal and well-adjusted person with a social life. With unlimited time on their hands and plenty of manpower, the basement-dwelling denizens of 4chan are capable of some CIA levels of digital forensics. Which of course brings us to the topic of EXIF image data. For those of you unaware, anytime that you take a photo, be it with a phone or a digital camera, the device attaches some metadata to that photo. EXIF metadata will generally include the time that the photo was taken, the device that it was taken on, the image resolution and other camera settings, and the GPS coordinates or the location of where the photo was taken. And all of this EXIF metadata is viewable within a simple properties check of the photos file on your personal computer. It's really that easy. Fun fact, when infamous antivirus pioneer John McAfee was on the run from Guatemalan officials in 2012, the feds managed to track John down and arrest him using EXIF image data associated with the photo featuring him that was posted to the internet days prior. Now, with all this said, don't think that you can just download people's photos and do properties checks on them and instantly dox whoever you want. It doesn't work like that anymore. It's not that easy. Why? Well, because as the internet has evolved and more people have gotten on social media, most platforms nowadays actively strip EXIF data from images uploaded to their platforms. However, back in 2012, 4chan was not one such platform that did this. And I think you know where this is going. One 4chan user knowledgeable in the EXIF arts would download the foot lettuce photo and peruse through its metadata. And lo and behold, after scrying through the EXIF, they discovered GPS coordinates revealing the photo was taken in the most crackhead state in all of America, Ohio. More specifically, it was taken in the Mayfield suburb of Cleveland. And what just so happened to be at these coordinates? Well, that was a Burger King restaurant located at the 1400 block of Wharton Boulevard. Bingo. They had found their crime scene. By 11:50 p.m., just 12 minutes after the Burger King foot lettuce photo was posted, 4chan and the EXIF wizards on the board had tracked down the location of where this guy worked. With the store's phone number publicly available online, board members tried to call the restaurant in an attempt to get a hold of a manager so that they could potentially intervene with the lettuce contamination. The following day, one user claimed to have got a hold of this manager and shared the details of the call. This manager was quoted as saying this in response to the news. "What? I'm gonna find who closed up last week because they're gonna have hell to pay. I don't know what kind of game these kids are playing, but it's sick and pathetic." While the manager was investigating the matter, 4chan handed the story over to local media. Local outlets would go on to publish various stories regarding the questionable lettuce handling practices at Mayfield's Burger King restaurant, and the story went viral online. And the internet and the local community were outraged, and they demanded justice be taken against the foot lettuce fiend. Finally, after a grueling 48-hour period of no updates, Cleveland news site CleveScene broke the news, revealing that the employees responsible had been identified and the matter had been investigated thoroughly. Turns out, in response to the outrage, the Burger King restaurant in question was subjected to an emergency inspection by the County Board of Health. According to reports, county health inspectors would make a shocking discovery, that being that the rogue employees had contaminated more than just the 2 bins of lettuce seen in the photos. Apparently, they had soiled like heaps of the stuff. But thankfully, due to the county's inspection, this contaminated lettuce was caught before it made it out of the kitchen, and none of it was ever served to customers. In the wake of the discovery, all of the contaminated lettuce was discarded and the food safety threat neutralized. Turns out that the foot lettuce freak featured in the infamous photo actually had 2 accomplices, and after the health inspector's investigation, the 3 foot lettuce contaminators were all fired. Case closed. It goes without saying that the Burger King foot lettuce story has become the stuff of legend over the years. It's a fast food horror story mixed with a classic 4chan vigilante justice campaign. It really doesn't get any better than that. In what might be the most high-profile freaky fast food incident in history, longtime viewers of the channel will likely be familiar with our next story. It's a timeless tale that took the internet and the mainstream media by storm. It's the legend of the Wendy's chili finger. So it goes without saying, all of us have found a pubic hair in our McChicken before, right? The Wendy's chili finger saga begins all the way back on March 22nd of 2005 with Las Vegas woman Ana Ayala. Ana was traveling through Southern California at the time, and feeling hungry, she stops at a Wendy's location on Monterey Highway in San Jose. At approximately 7:20 p.m., Ana walks into the restaurant and orders a 99-cent bowl of chili from the front counter. She pays for her meal, gets her food, and sits at one of the tables and begins eating. However, while Ana is eating her chili, she bites into something crunchy. It's at this moment where Ana finds what appears to be a decomposed human finger half submerged in her chili bowl. Mortified, the now panicked woman takes her bowl of chili up to the front counter and frantically explains to the employees what she just found in her chili. Restaurant staff would take a quick look at the grotesque object and agreed with her prognosis of the situation. As a result of the incident, the Wendy's location immediately stopped serving food and law enforcement was called to the scene. The sudden police presence at the restaurant prompted intrigue from bystanders, and before you knew it, the word was spreading around that a woman had found a finger in her bowl of chili. By evening time, local media would pick up on the situation, and Wendy's was on the brink of the biggest PR disaster in the restaurant's history.
Now we turn to the story everybody is talking about, the finger in the Wendy's chili. Investigators are conducting DNA tests, hoping to find the owner of the severed finger. Officials at Wendy's say they've checked all of their chili suppliers and none have reported an injury of this kind.
In the wake of Ana's chili finger incident, Wendy's would launch their own investigation into the matter, trying to figure out how this finger got into one of their bowls of chili. Meanwhile, Ana would begin a full-time media campaign against Wendy's, appearing on many mainstream news outlets, and the woman seemed genuinely distraught by what had happened and expressed that she was interested in suing the company for damages.
The woman who says she found a finger in her bowl of chili at a Wendy's in San Jose, California. We turn now to Ana Ayala and her attorney, Jeffrey Janoff, from Mountain View, California.
Well, as I was eating my chili, and I usually crack all my crackers and just put them in there, mix it all around, and started eating and eating the way usually people eat. And suddenly I chew something that's kind of hard, crunchy, spit it out. At first I wasn't sure what it was. And as we started investigating, poking it, other people too, that's when we find that there's something that looks like a nail.
About a week after the story had broke, Wendy's started seeing declining sales in their restaurants, and particularly on the West Coast. It was becoming clear to the company that this situation could be a long-term hindrance to their bottom line if not gracefully resolved, and fast. The public demanded an explanation from Wendy's, but Wendy's had no explanation to give. After a meticulous audit of their own chili supply chain, Wendy's consulted with all 7 suppliers responsible for the manufacturing of their chili product, and none of these suppliers had any record of an employee losing a finger on the job, and no such finger loss incident was reported at the restaurant that served the chili itself. The finger seemed to have just manifested from the ether into this woman's bowl of chili. Wendy's also managed to get their hands on the chili finger itself and sent the finger off to a third-party laboratory for forensic testing. And curiously, the lab analysis revealed that the flesh of the finger was inconsistent with that of cooked human flesh. The significance of this finding is that since the chili finger was uncooked, that meant that it would have had to have been placed in the bowl of chili after the chili itself was cooked, thus pretty much clearing Wendy's supply chain of any wrongdoing. And it's at this point where Wendy's becomes suspicious of the supposed chili finger victim herself, Ana Ayala. After all, she was the only outstanding and uncontrolled variable in this case, and everything looked good on their end of things. So Wendy's ends up hiring private investigators to look into Ana, hoping to uncover anything on the woman that could out her as a bad actor. And what they find about this woman immediately raises some red flags. It turns out that Ana Ayala had a history of filing frivolous lawsuits against large companies in the hopes of getting quick legal payouts. In 2004, Ana had sued Goodyear Tire, claiming that the company was responsible for a wheel falling off of her car. The suit was dismissed without prejudice by the courts. Ana also reportedly tried to sue the El Pollo Loco fast food restaurant in 2004, claiming her daughter contracted salmonella from the food served at this establishment. But according to statements from the company, no such contamination ever existed and the woman didn't receive any payout. After the discovery of these frivolous lawsuits, Wendy's was confident that some fuckery was afoot on behalf of Ana, and they weren't having any of it. Wendy's investigators would consult with the San Jose police regarding the matter, sharing their documentation that proved their supply chain's audit was clean, and their suspicions regarding Ana's litigious history. Police had been dealing with the rise in fraudulent fast food contamination claims since Ana's case had happened, and they, after hearing Wendy's side of the story, started to feel like that case too might be fake. San Jose police ultimately decided to open a criminal investigation into the finger incident in collaboration with the Las Vegas Police Department. This would lead to Las Vegas police searching the home of Ana Ayala and her husband Jamie Placencia on April 8th. The cops rifled through everything, hoping to uncover some human remains that were used for fast food tampering, but after an exhaustive search, they didn't turn up anything. The house was clean. For the time being, Ana and her husband were cleared of any wrongdoing in the matter and were still seen as victims. And Wendy's was left looking like a big jerk for accusing a supposed victim of fingering their own chili. Now desperate to crack this case, Wendy's opens up a chili finger hotline, if you will, offering a $50,000 reward to anyone who can provide information that could potentially lead them to the origin of this damn finger. Naturally, hundreds if not thousands would call the hotline, and almost every tip was completely useless. But one call in particular would prove useful to Wendy's, as this individual would provide damning information about Ana Ayala that would help flip the public's sympathetic nature towards her. This caller would provide a detailed testimony alleging that in 2002 they were a victim of a real estate fraud conspiracy orchestrated by Ana Ayala, and Jamie was involved. While the call wasn't chili finger related, it was Ana related, and this information was passed over to police. After this tip, authorities would take a second look at this couple, and shockingly, this ends up leading to their arrest. But they weren't arrested for chili fingering. Ana was booked for real estate fraud, and Jamie was booked for unpaid child support payments. So by this point, it's pretty clear that Ana and Jamie were indeed the bad actors that Wendy's thought they were, but the problem was that they still didn't have any tangible evidence that directly linked them to the chili finger incident. They just found out that they were alleged criminals from something else. Thus, Wendy's was still faced with the terrible reality of having absolutely no explanation for the finger almost 2 months after the story had broke. Sales continued to plummet, causing gross negative impact on the company, with some reports indicating that Wendy's was losing over $1 million a day since the chili finger story broke all the way back in March.
Now that's a lot of damage!
If they were desperate to crack the case before, now they were down bad. In a last-ditch effort to find the origins of the chili finger, Wendy's would raise the reward payment for the tip line to $100,000. And thankfully for them, this increased reward would yield some new evidence. They got a lead that once again implicated Ana and her husband Jamie. This tip was a call from a Las Vegas asphalt plant operator named Mike Casey. Mr. Casey would explain that Ana's husband Jamie was actually one of his employees, And whenever he heard about the Wendy's chili finger incident and Anna and Jamie's recent arrest, he was reminded that one of his other employees had actually recently lost a finger in an on-the-job accident. That finger-losing employee was 36-year-old Brian Rossiter, and according to Mr. Casey, Rossiter and Jamie often worked together on the job and were friends. The pieces to this chili finger puzzle were finally coming together. This lead was passed along to police, who promptly questioned all parties involved, resulting in the truth finally coming out. Turns out that Brian Rossiter kept his severed finger after getting medical treatment as a keepsake of sorts. And one day, he actually brought this finger to work as this sort of macabre novelty item. Jamie, who happened to be at work on this date, was owed money by Brian Rossiter at the time and offered to squash his $100 debt in exchange for Brian's severed finger. Brian Rossiter agrees to the deal, and Jamie walks away from the trade with this crusty-ass looking finger. A finger that would ultimately be placed into a bowl of 99-cent Wendy's chili by his co-conspirator wife, Anna Ayala, in an attempt to defraud the Wendy's company for potential millions of dollars in a hypothetical damages lawsuit. And to top everything off, a DNA test would show that the finger was a 100% match with the DNA of Brian Rossiter. The case was closed. Both Anna and Jamie are charged with grand theft and conspiracy to file false claims. And in September, the duo would plead guilty to their crimes. Anna was sentenced to serve 9 years in prison, with apparent ringleader Jamie sentenced to serve 12 years and 4 months in prison. The court also ordered the couple to pay over $22 million in restitution to the Wendy's Corporation and employees who were affected from layoffs caused by their chili finger disaster. Needless to say, fast food Bonnie and Clyde got absolutely ransacked by the courts. Wendy's name had been cleared, and with the chili finger incident now proven to be nothing more than a fraudulent hoax, customers began filing back into their stores and folks are slurping chili to this very day. Big ups to the Pepsi pimp. What's fascinating about the Wendy's chili finger case is that this is the only incident in fast food history that I'm aware of where someone was actually imprisoned for contaminating fast food. Most cases usually end up with hoaxers being told to cease and desist or face consequences in civil court from the companies they damage. They almost never end up in the clink for this kind of stuff. But considering the level of panic that this created within the public and just the scale of the damages inflicted on Wendy's by the enactment of this fraud, I think some prison time was definitely warranted. But that was the legend of the Wendy's chili finger. Now, before we get into our grand finale story, which involves a guy stealing multiple gallons of Baja Blast from Taco Bell using an engineered contraption, I want to do a bit of a lightning round to sort of debunk some possible hoaxes out there that you may have seen on the internet. The KFC fried rat. I've actually done a video covering this story in depth, so be sure to check that out, but this is the gist on this one. Back in June of 2015, a man hailing from Compton, California posted various images and videos to his Facebook page claiming that KFC had served him a deep fried rat. He said that he bit into the rat tender and it felt hard and rubbery, and when you take a look at his video showcasing this freakishly fried creation, it did indeed look rat-like in shape. This man's video prompted social media buzz and people were demanding an explanation from KFC. But as soon as KFC began investigating this matter, that's when the guy's story almost immediately fell apart. KFC was transparent in the matter, requesting that the Compton claimant send the tender off to a third party at their expense to get the DNA of the meat tested. But the man curiously refused to do so time and time again. And you would think that if you felt like genuinely that you had just eaten a rat, you would want to send it off to get it tested to prove without a shadow of a doubt that this wasn't chicken and that it was indeed rat meat. But the guy just refused to do this. Also, many folks at the time noted that the fried rat itself just didn't make any sense because for it to have such a crispy breading like this, a restaurant worker would have to, sort of take a dead rat, toss it in the Colonel's 11 herbs and spices, put it in an egg wash, and then put it in the fryer. You wouldn't get crispy breading like this just from a rat like crawling into a deep fryer. It just kind of seemed like a lot for someone to just completely gloss over while preparing chicken. Eventually, this Compton claimant would get a lawyer that advised him to send the rat tender in for testing, and after a third-party lab analysis, the tender was proven to be 100% white meat chicken. The man was proven to be nothing more than an attention-seeking hoaxer with potential legal aspirations. So, in case you were wondering, the KFC fried rat was a deep-fried phony. It wasn't real. Herpes in McDonald's mayonnaise. Yep, you heard that title right. Back in 2014, it was being reported that a 31-year-old woman named Lisa McDowell had a harrowing experience with her McDonald's McChicken sandwich. According to the woman, when she was eating her chicken sandwich, she noted something off about the texture of the mayonnaise. It was slimy and salty. And after peeling off the bun, she discovers what appears to be a large glob of semen sitting atop the mayonnaise. And to make matters worse, it was being reported that the woman contracted herpes in her mouth and lips from consuming this semen-infused mayonnaise. Reports say that health inspectors looked into the matter, tested the semen, finding it not only positive for herpes, but also linked it to 2 restaurant workers at the McDonald's. These 2 employees were promptly fired, and articles discussing the matter provide this purported statement from the McDonald's manager responsible for these employees. We can't always keep an eye on our employees' conduct. We can only hope during the interview process that we are able to hire employees that meet our company's standards. Pretty disgusting, right? But did this actually happen?
No way. It's an urban legend that never happened.
So yeah, this story is completely fake. Lisa McDowell isn't a real person, and McDonald's never had an incident like this. Semen being found in mayonnaise is a viral internet hoax that has existed in various forms online since the early 1990s. It's literally just a clickbait story that these spoof news websites make to bring in traffic. Internet spoof articles have reported semen being found in tacos, pizza, shawarma, curry, hamburgers, literally anything you can think of. It's all bogus. There has literally never been a confirmed case of semen being found in someone's fast food, and let's hope it stays that way.
Number 15. McDonald's cum sandwich. The last thing you'd want in your McDonald's sandwich is someone's cum.
Fried rat head at Popeyes. This image on screen may look familiar to some of you. Back in September of 2016, a woman from New York City named Rosemary visited a South Harlem Popeyes location only to be served what appeared to be a deep-fried rat head. The woman took to Facebook with her findings, sharing the photos and her testimony of the incident, and this story would go viral. Her post read, "Friends and family, this is a meal Popeyes in Harlem served my daughter, my niece, and sister. This is clearly a rat, and they have the nerve to have a 5-star rating by the Department of Health. People, please feel free to share this picture. Think about all the other rat that have been served and the lasting effect that this will have on my daughter, niece, and sister." The exact address is 2730 Frederick Douglass Boulevard. It was being reported that Rosemary was looking into legal solutions for this matter. But curiously, like the KFC fried rat case we just discussed, as soon as Popeyes starts reaching out to the customer in question, that's when the claimant's story just gets sussy. According to reports, a Popeyes rep had actually gotten into contact with Rosemary and agreed to meet with her to get a sample of the head for testing. But when the time came for the meeting, Rosemary allegedly postponed the meet, and ever since postponing, Popeyes hasn't been able to get the woman to reschedule or submit the head for DNA testing. A Popeyes spokeswoman told Snopes.com that the restaurant in question underwent a health inspection after the incident, and health inspectors determined that the restaurant contained no signs of vermin or prior vermin activity. Additionally, Popeyes suppliers would make the claim that the object shown in the photo wasn't a rat head, it was actually just a piece of chicken organ meat. And yes, I get that this is quite a convincing looking photo, but I'd like to show you a video of a man finding a chicken liver in his Popeyes meal. Take a look at this.
Went by Popeyes and got chicken for dinner, and inside of the chicken box was this chicken, I'm not sure it's breast or thigh, because attached to this is what appears to be either a chicken heart or a chicken liver. No idea what that is. I think it's a heart. It looks like a heart. But that's, you know.
Yeah, so after seeing that, do you still think this is a rat head? Now, I want to stress that this claim has never officially been debunked, and Rosemary may very well have been served a rat head, but nothing official has ever been determined about this case. And in my opinion, especially after looking at that man's video, I think the story is bogus. Our next story, while not necessarily disturbing, is one of the internet's most infamous fast food related stories of all time. It's the legend of a GameFAQs.com forum user and his mission to acquire unlimited amounts of Baja Blast from his local Taco Bell using some ingeniously crude engineering skills. This is the story of Operation Soda Steel. I want to give a big thanks to YouTuber Cybershell for archiving the various screenshots and forum posts you'll be seeing in this segment. The link to his Operation Soda Steel video is down below. The story of this legendary soda heist begins all the way back on August 1st of 2008 on the GameFAQs.com forums. On this day, a GameFAQs forum user going by the name Epitaph Phillips submits a thread to the boards titled "My Dream is Becoming a Reality, Operation Soda Steel." Attached was some Microsoft Paint concept art Philip had created, the art showing a contraption that he sought to engineer, and if functional would allow him to covertly siphon potentially unlimited amounts of soda from fast food restaurant fountain drink dispensers. The design consisted of a backpack which would contain a concealed tank where the soda was to be stored. From here, a connecting tube exits out of the bag, travels into Phil's shirt, up his sleeve, and then connects to the bottom of a cup receptacle. The theorized apparatus allowing its user to secretly fill the tank with gallons of free soda to take home, with the restaurant being none the wiser. While the engineering behind this is admittedly clever, the sort of premise of just making it to steal soda is ridiculous, and one might think a post like this to be nothing more than just a silly throwaway shitpost. You know, just a guy posting preposterous stuff to get a rise out of forum users. But subsequent posts from Philip suggested his commitment to Operation Soda Steel was serious and that this was far more than just a humorous shitpost. Philip would share photos to the thread showcasing an early model of his Soda Steel contraption. This photo shows the tank and tube apparatus that would be placed into the backpack, and this photo showcases the tube and cup connection. Philip wrote the following alongside his gallery of Soda Steel prototype photos. "I tested it in the shower and it works pretty well. I ran out of hot glue though, so there were some small leaks. Hopefully I can complete it by tomorrow and take it out for a spin. I might record it. Taco Bell will never know what hit him." With these images confirming the man's commitment to his offbeat novelty project, that's when you had folks chiming in asking the question, why? I mean, of all things you could commit your time to, this is what you do? With engineering skills like this, we got a future NASA scientist on our hand, man. Like, go to school or something. One user says, "Why can't you just buy soda? It'd be different if somehow you could do this with gasoline or like gold or something. Soda is inexpensive. I mean, don't get me wrong, the concept and idea rock my balls." Philip replies, "It's not about the soda. I probably won't even drink half of it. It's the accomplishment and it's fun." And aside from self-fulfillment and garnering big dick internet street cred, there was actually a pragmatic reason for stealing soda, specifically in the context of the restaurant target being a Taco Bell. And that's because Taco Bell is the home of the undisputed best soda of all time, Mountain Dew Baja Blast. While Baja Blast is available in grocery stores these days, back in 2008, this stuff was only available at Taco Bell. It was an exclusive item, and anyone who was around at the time knows just how sought after this rare teal-colored nectar was. Philip's soda stealing contraption could be used to break the matrix and potentially allow one to gain access to an unlimited take-home supply of Baja Blast. He was breaking the system. When folks realized this, buzz around the thread grew and people began chiming in offering engineering advice to help perfect Phil's contraption. The GameFAQs community was all in on this project. One user suggested that Philip have the soda tube exit the tank from the bottom as to reduce jostling of the soda as it entered, thus preserving its carbonation. Another user proposed installing a ramp to achieve a similar fizz retention effect. Throughout the week, Philip would make various tweaks to his contraption, and on August 6th, he would upload a new collection of photos revealing the final version of his device. This enhanced version incorporated an anti-fizzing tube setup in a different bag that perfectly fit the shape of his tank. Along with these images, he commented, "No guarantees, but I might try it tonight with a friend." One user says, "It's 9 o'clock now. When is tonight?" Philip replies, "Well, it's only 7 here on the West Coast. We were thinking pretty later, like around 10, so there won't be any people. Also, I'm well aware doing this for the sole purpose of getting soda is a dumb idea. That's why I'm not only doing it for that reason. It's a fun project and will be a good story to tell. not to mention it provides entertainment for all of you guys. After weeks of preparation, it appeared that the night of Operation Soda Steal was at hand, and after Philip's last post at 6:47 p.m., he vanished from the boards for hours. Folks were on the edge of their seats, hoping that Philip would return with news of a successful mission and a tank full of Baja Blast. Hours passed with no updates, but finally, at 9:15 p.m., Epitaph Phil comes back with a bombshell. Fucking did it. I'm gonna upload the video now. I'm not gonna spoil any results. The madman Epitaph Phil had completed his mission. Operation Soda Steal was a success. And to top it off, he recorded the entire thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the footage of Operation Soda Steal.
Here at Taco Bell, my friend, and we're about to deploy our device. See how it goes. Get out there. Get a bean burrito, no onions, and a extra large drink. Living the dream. I don't know if you can see that. There's some light. Bring it out in the light. Oh my God. Holy shit. That is a lot of Baja. I told you. Alright, we'll extra large Taco Bell cup we got beforehand. Put this funnel in here. Super glued it. You can see it comes out the bottom. Then add this tube, which then goes through the sleeve of the jacket down to the side bag, which is just this little luggage bag, which conveniently perfectly fit the container. And there's the fruits of our labor. Proudly say I'm one of the few people privileged enough to enjoy Baja Blast in the confines of my own home.
Thanks to pulling off Operation Soda Steal, Epitaph Philip became a legend on the GameFAQs forums. His successful pilfering of Baja Blast was actually covered by some popular online blogs at the time, and follow-up posts from Phil would confirm that he managed to steal approximately 2 gallons of soda from the Taco Bell. It was a beautiful moment on the internet. As the buzz surrounding Operation Soda Steal would eventually diminish, so did Epitaph Philip's forum activity. His account on the site is now deactivated and nobody really knows what became of the guy. Operation Soda Steal is in many ways the perfect internet story. It's a tale of a random forum user with a bold plan to swindle Mountain Dew, who worked together with a niche online gaming community to execute a mission so ridiculously silly, yet somehow crucially important at the same time. Even if you weren't there when this took place, or you're just now hearing about this, there's something oddly nostalgic about Operation Soda Steal. 2008 internet, man, you just had to be there. It was a better time to be online. But that, my friends, was the story of Operation Soda Steal. And that wraps up our fast food disasters compendium. Let me know what you guys thought about this video down below in the comment section, and let me know who or what you want me to talk about next. I want to give a major shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys. Wavy Web Surf out. Peace.